we do with the 13th murderer? Do you have a lead?
No, we don't.
I thought about it. There is one clue that was left aside in my investigation.
Which
the
one?
diary I found in Ratchet's
Oh.
safe mentioned an appointment in Venice. Someone
Isn't
with
it odd we continue on our journey with a trainload of people that police consider potential murderers?
Calm yourself, Doctor. It is not the first time I find myself in the middle.
And the invoice is going to be amazing.
I welcome the chance to see this case through. Look, you are clearly an excellent police officer. Could you accompany me to Venice for an investigation into Ratchet's activities? There is much we still need to know.
Well, yes. It would be an honor to work with you.
The desk clerk must be asleep or off partying.
That's a good way to get
There's no one
fired.
to help me. They won't mind if I help myself.
All right. Andrew Riley, Elaine Shellstrop, Pascal Costa, accent, and Aziz Wadi, Switzerland.
Aziz Wadi. That's the only name that corresponds to the initials AW.
Paziente, non ti ho sentito. Posso aiutarla?
We're probably going to get this person killed. Oh, look.
Hey, you.
Hands up.
I can't lose them.
Move over.
You unoriginal bastards.
I'm sorry I couldn't catch the suspect, Mr. Poirot.
There is no need to apologize, mademoiselle. Your efforts were marvelous. I found some information about Mr. Wadi.
Did you access the FBI database?
Don't worry, my little gray cells were enough. However, the database may confirm the origin of these banknotes.
No need. I included them when I continued my investigation.
Excellent.
Mr. Poirot, it's part of the ransom money from the Armstrong case.
You are surprised?
I suppose not. So Ratchet had it in an account at the Banque du Lac.
It would seem
I think
so.
Wadi's killer is also Ratchet's murderer. The motive for both deaths was revenge, and both are related to the Armstrong case through the ransom money.
Exactly. So, well, there is nothing more we can do here except wait for the police. Prepare yourself for a long evening with the police. We have a lot of explaining to do.
And after that?
Venice, December 18th, 2023, 11:49 p.m. Alright, I have my goggles on and I'm ready to play. My name is Sloth154 and welcome back to Agatha Christie's A Murder on the Orient Express.
Here you are at last. I was
worked
worried
perfectly.
about you.
We just left the police station. We had to explain to the Italian police that we were not murderers.
Always so hard to explain that.
Another murder?
I'll tell you when we're underway. Are all passengers and staff aboard?
Yes, everyone is here. We were waiting for you.
Excellent. Let's not waste any more time. We
Yeah.
have to make a longer than usual stop in Lausanne.
What? How long?
Long enough to do a little banking in Geneva.
Yeah, there's a lot you need to know, Book. He'll catch you up to it. That looks good. So, last episode, we went to Venice. We tried to meet Mr. Ratchet's accomplice, one of his accomplices, and that person was stabbed to death.
But this is madness. A 13th murderer of Ratchet?
Yes,
Mon
Book.
ami, he was not well liked.
But Monsieur Michel would have seen anyone enter Ratchet's compartment.
Unless-
And there were another 10 people milling about.
This is
taking
someone
their
who
turn
killed
and
him
stabbing him. How could they not notice
before
an uninvited
he fell
killer?
asleep. Smoked in
13th killer could have acted when Michel was smoking on the platform at Vinkovsky. But
Vinkovsky.
even after the train departed, Michel was absent from his post at the end of the corridor several times the night of the murder. I must know where he really was and when.
Is the murder still on the train? Yes.
Yes, he most certainly returned to the train.
How can you be sure?
It's obvious. I mean, I hope Mr. Poirot agrees.
Please continue, Detective Locke.
Yes, Detective Locke. All right, before I do this, If you end up liking this video, comment, like, and subscribe. It does help the channel. Check out the description. I'll have a link to the playlist for this series and other games I played on my channel. Check them out, they're fun. Talk to me in the comment section if you've read the book. Is this part of it? Because I don't know. I've only watched the movies and only the most recent one is stuck in my brain. Actually, I'm going to watch it after this. So let's continue. What proof is there that the murderer was still on the train? He ran in the direction of railroad station. His best ticket out of Italy was aboard the train. There is no one missing on the train.
All the passengers and crew are still aboard. If the killer of Mr. Wadi had remained in Venice, we would have noticed right away that someone was missing.
Yes.
And we could have alerted the authorities.
I promise you, I made certain everyone was aboard before we embarked.
Book, calm yourself.
Calm myself? But we're back where we started.
We're in a
There
better
is still
position.
another murderer on my train. Wait a moment. Can I change my mind about my verdict? Can we turn everyone over to the police?
Everyone? Including ourselves?
What? No. No. Oh, it's a nightmare.
I know,
Let
Buck.
us
I get
take it
confused
step
too.
by step, my friend. We can start by eliminating all of the members of the Ratchet jury.
Alright, so Captain Arbonauts. Yeah. Shell, you. No, you. You and you. Wait. Okay.
My little gray cells did not.
So
let
one of the
me
5
down.
people who we didn't pick is the murderer.
If we eliminate the 12 jurors, we are left with 7 additional.
I can't count. Sorry, people.
7. It's still too many.
Not really.
We must reduce our list.
Excuse my impatience, Poirot. It's as if my beautiful train is cursed.
A
Can
little
you
bit, yes.
Exonerate any of the 7?
Book a suspect? No.
Well done. Book worked hard to get me aboard the train. He is definitely not a suspect.
Unless he knew that the other 12 were gonna murder him and then put you on the train so that you would catch them instead of him. Miss Locke? Nope.
Nice. Mademoiselle Locke cannot be a suspect. She pursued Mr. Wadi's murderer.
Yeah, I forgot. I didn't think about that at all. Dr. Constantine suspect? No.
Brilliant.
He's the one who found the
Dr.
second.
Constantine alerted me to the 13th stab wound. He is not a suspect.
Unless he's really clever.
I'm right again. That happens
So
to
we're
me
down
a
to
lot.
4 people.
I have 4 suspects left who I must now examine more closely. Miss Nielsen, Monsieur Maury, Monsieur Fauché, and Countess Andrény.
One of my employees? Suspicious?
All
Yes.
3 got off the train in Venice to restock supplies. Any one of them might have slipped away without being noticed.
I suppose. But what of Countess Andrény? You cleared her yourself.
She is cleared of the first murder, but we know little of her movements here in Venice. So we still have 4
Yes.
suspects.
They also had to
interview.
be able to get access to the
Detective
kitchen because what
I
he
can't
used was a
join you,
butcher
Poirot.
knife.
My chief saw
Well,
something on the news about the case and my involvement.
Oh.
He's demanding an explanation. If I want to keep my badge, I have to call him.
This is
Then
why you don't go
must
rogue,
do so
child.
by all means.
I'm sorry.
No need to apologize. I understand.
You should have called him as soon
I'll
as
make
you
the call
saw
from my
him in
compartment.
Istanbul.
If you're looking for me, I'll be there.
I hate to say this, Poirot, but I must. There is, of course, one other suspect with a motive for murder. The ransom money.
You mean Detective Locke? Then who did she chase? Who killed Aziz? We both saw the masked murderer standing over the body.
Yeah, book. So we're gonna go talk to people. Interrogate Miss Nielsen. Interrogate Mr. Fletcher. Interrogate Mr. Mori. And let's start with Countess Andrény. Oh, is she out?
Doctor, I need to question Countess Andrény.
I'm afraid that won't be possible, Mr. Poirot. The Countess had an anxiety attack when we arrived in Venice.
Really?
She was terrified the police would come for her and her husband, despite how you concluded your investigation. I
Yeah.
had to give her a sedative. She has been sleeping since.
All right, she's cleared.
You have stayed with her all the time we were in Venice?
Count Andrény begged me to watch over her. I have not left this room.
Thanks, Doc.
You're the reason she's in this state.
No, you're the reason.
Voted to absolve you all. I accepted his verdict.
I told her. I tried to reason with her. What she has already suffered, the strain of these last few days.
Yeah, murder will do
was too
that.
much.
I understand, Count. It's quite all right. I have the answers I came for.
Yeah, if you're not a killer, don't kill people. Don't be involved in the killing of people, because it will get to you. Let's find the... I'm gonna talk to the staff. Try to get some answers. But yeah, of course you're gonna have a panic attack. You killed someone. Huh.
You play well. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Thank you. Many years of piano lessons thanks to my mother. I try to play in a few clubs in Paris when I get the chance, but as you can see, it hasn't made me rich. What
What's
can
his
I do
mother?
for you?
Conversation only.
What you do in
Tell
Venice?
me about your time in Venice.
I had Monsieur Bouc's permission to see my sister. She lives in Marghera, just outside of Venice. She had a baby a few weeks ago. This was my first chance to meet my new nephew.
Monsieur Bouc gave you permission?
Yes, you can ask him.
Most assuredly, I will. What time did you leave and when did you return?
I left around 9:10 p.m. I
Yeah.
was back by 10:45 p.m.
Alright,
When I
good to
got
know.
back, Hotaru was in a lot of pain. I gave him a back massage.
That
Hotaru.
would have been enough time to kill Monsieur Wadi and return to the train.
Have you seen your
May I
knives?
see your knives?
Of course, they are here.
If you don't mind.
Help yourself. They are under the bar counter.
Okay. Let her
Tell me again about your poker game the night of the murder.
It's a regular game to help relax after a long day. Let's see, we started around 11 p.m. We
Okay.
took a short break in Vinkovsky. Hotaru, Pierre, and I. The game finished up around 2 a.m. We'd all had quite a bit to drink. Ah, yes, I left for about 10 minutes to refrigerate champagne for the next day. That must have been around 1 a.m.
Okay. So that's not the murder.
None of these come close to the wounds on either body.
No, it was probably... Well, Mr. Mori is the one who I have the most suspicion about. Because as the type of chef he is, he's the one who would most likely have a knife like that. And the fact that he had a hurt back on his way here.
Good evening, Monsieur Mori. May I have a moment of your time? I have a few questions to ask you.
Of course, as long as you don't mind if dinner is ruined.
I promise to be as brief as possible.
What did you do in
What
Venice?
did you do while we were stopped in Venice?
With Freya's help, I loaded fresh produce for the next part of our journey. Then, you may not believe this, but my job requires a lot of physical labor. My back suffers. Fortunately, Jean has become quite adept at separating my vertebrae.
Neither
Tell
Mr.
me
Ratchet.
about your poker game the night of the murder.
We started around 11 p.m. When John finished his shift. We played until around 2 a.m. From what I remember, it's a bit vague.
You played without a break.
Actually, we did break once for a smoke. John, Pierre, and I. When we stopped in Vinkovsky,
When was that?
around midnight.
Okay.
As you may know, I have solved the murder of Monsieur Ratchet.
That is a shame.
I beg your pardon?
What?
The bastard sent my steak tartar back. telling John I was to burn it.
I will add it to the list of his crimes. One wound
like my
on Monsieur Ratchet's
meat
body
done.
was struck by a very sharp, thin-bladed knife. We haven't found it yet.
You think one of mine was used?
I'd like to have a look if you don't mind.
In that drawer.
Okay.
An impressive set of knives.
It is.
But their blades are too wide to have been used for the crime.
Thanks to your cooperation. Huh.
A black feather. That reminds me of something.
The mask. Huh.
Good evening, Mademoiselle Nielsen. May I talk to you for a moment?
Of course, Mr. Poirot. I'm not going to bed right away.
What you do in
Can
Venice?
you tell me your movements while we were stopped in Venice?
That'll be easy. I didn't move much at all. Let's see. I helped Hataru load all of the food crates aboard the train. Hataru had everything he needed, but I realized they forgot half of my order. I spent over an hour on the phone with the supplier without success. I had to change the dessert menu for tomorrow.
Not
Can
even
you
Mr.
tell
Ratchet
me
murder?
exactly about your poker game the night of the murder?
We started around 11 p.m. In Vinkovsky, we took a short break. Hataru and Pierre went outside to smoke. Oh, and Hataru got sick around a few minutes past 1 a.m. 1:10 a.m. maybe? He spent about 15 minutes in the bathroom, but he didn't want to quit on a losing streak.
Did his luck improve?
No. So we played to around 2 a.m. He lost every hand.
Can I see your
Dr.
knives?
Constantine found a stab wound on Ratchet's body that was caused by a much thinner and sharper blade than the others.
Possibly a chef's knife?
My thought, precisely.
And you'd like to see my knives?
Yes, please.
If you wouldn't mind.
I would gladly show you if I had any, but I don't. I use the regular kitchen knives. You may search if you don't believe me.
I see.
All the knives the staff use are in the kitchen or in the lounge, except
Except?
Hotaro prefers to use his own.
Monsieur Mori doesn't use the kitchen knives?
Not usually. I know he keeps a set of traditional Japanese knives in a box in his room. He doesn't let anyone else use them. Although now that I think of it, he has been using the kitchen knives lately.
I see. You're an assassin? Little mustache.
You can never have too many of these. The box is secured by some sort of locking mechanism. The design is formed by 3 commas. What is the word in Japanese? Tamoe.
Oh,
And it's obviously missing a piece.
okay. Let's check what book with something real quick.
You told Fauché he could go into Venice?
Marghera, actually. Not so far away. It was his only chance to see his sister. He's been working every train for weeks. There is never time to see the new baby.
Enough, Book. Your heart does you credit, but your common sense, it...
I know. But it's fine. Isn't it? He did come back.
Oh, it's fine, as you say.
It is.
Unless he saw the baby, then killed someone else and returned to the train.
But that's monstrous.
Murder is always monstrous, my friend.
Yeah, that's why every country punishes it. We gotta talk to Michelle again.
Ah, Michel, I have a few more questions to ask you, if you will allow me.
Anything, Monsieur Poirot. We are in your debt.
What you do in
Please
Venice?
tell me your movements when we were stopped at Venice station.
Once the compartments were cleaned and the linen refreshed, I stayed in my quarters.
Did you notice anything special? Comings and goings?
Monsieur Bouc had asked everyone to stay in their compartments. I would occasionally walk the train to ensure everyone was comfortable. Oh, I saw Monsieur Maury was all alone loading his crates of provisions. A great chef like that, reduced to petty labor, I would have helped him. But Monsieur Bouc had ordered me not to leave the train for any reason. So, Monsieur Maury was forced to labor alone.
Alone?
Let us review the actual timeline of the night of Ratchet's murder, not the one manufactured to hide your crime.
I left the train in Minkowski for a smoke. Then I resumed my post. That was the truth. The train departed on schedule. But then, of course, an avalanche of snow blocked the tracks. At 12:45, Madame Hubbard and I met in her compartment to discuss how to adapt our plan.
Due to the snow and Poirot.
The little play we had staged for you had to be rewritten. I left her compartment at approximately 1:15.
Then the curtain went up. Calls in the night, the red kimono, all for my benefit.
And all for nothing, as it turned out.
He's a really good
Blame
detective.
yourself,
He has
Michel.
33
I
stories.
am the theater critic no playwright wants to see in the audience.
Okay.
I've talked to everyone, but some elements of the testimonies do not seem to correspond. I need to recheck a few things.
Front Miss Nielsen. Yes. Alright, we're gonna do this first. Select 2 elements that give the staff an alibi for the time of the murder. This one. This one. This one. This one.
Think, Poirot. That is not a good answer. I must admit I'm not right this time.
Nope, never am.
No, not good.
Oh, these two. It's supposed to put the train at 12:55 when Pierre Michel was not watching the corridor.
I do not think that's the right answer.
There we go. 1:10 when Pierre was not watching.
Any of the 3 staff members had the opportunity to kill Ratchet when Monsieur Michel wasn't watching the hallway.
Yes.
My little gray cells did not let me down.
Let's see if I can find the thing. Oh. That didn't light up last time. Guys, I got it. Oh, no, that works.
Look, I need to move parts on the side.
There we go. There we go. Got it. Took me a while. I didn't really vibe on that one. There we go.
Sushi knives, razor sharp.
All right. This one?
Colteria Venezia.
Italian.
Sushi knives, razor sharp. Sushi knives, razor sharp.
Oh, there's one that isn't a sushi knife. Okay. We're gonna talk to Mr. Maori first. Then we're gonna confront the lady in back. Hey, man.
I'm sorry, Monsieur Mori, but haven't you forgotten something? You haven't told me about the knives hidden in your room.
Ha! Yes, indeed. I forgot to tell you about those. They are my personal knives. I only use these knives. There are none better. I bought them all in Japan. No one is allowed to touch them except me.
No one is allowed to touch them. Personal knives. I bought them all in Japan.
I'm afraid you are better at sushi than lying.
What? What do you mean?
One of them
One
is...
of the knives has an inscription, Coltelleria Venezia. Did you happen to go shopping tonight, monsieur?
Damn you, Poirot. Very well. One of my sushi knives has been missing since the night of the murder. I thought you were going to believe I killed Ratchet.
Dude.
He routinely sent back my dishes to be ruined. Why does God give rich people the money to afford the best cuisine, but not the palate to appreciate it? I panicked. I know a very good store in Venice. I went to buy a knife to replace the one that had gone missing, so I wouldn't be accused. I assure you that I had nothing to do with any murders.
I would have an easier time believing you, monsieur,
If you put the knife
down.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry.
What time did you leave on your little shopping trip?
I left around 9:30 p.m. I was back a little after 11.
Okay.
11:15
Good to know.
p.m.
Time enough to stab Monsieur Wadi and return. Very well, Monsieur Mori. That's all for
But we would have found the knife if
I
he
have
dropped
another
it.
question.
I'll be right here, cooking.
Yeah, unless he jumps out the window and hoofs it through the wilderness. I mean, it's not 0% chance of survival. All right. I have some more questions for you, madam.
Remind me of what you did when the train stopped in Venice.
No problem. I helped Hotaru load all of the food crates aboard the train.
He was
Hotaru
alone.
had everything he needed, but I realized they forgot half of my order. I spent over an hour on the phone with the supplier, without success. I had to change the dessert menu for tomorrow.
All right. And all the food. This one.
Mademoiselle, I believe you're hiding the truth from me.
What makes you say that?
Testimony, Mr. Michel.
Michel saw Monsieur Mori carrying the crates of food alone. You weren't on the platform.
I did help Hotaru.
The entire time? He carried so many crates, his back was sore.
Ah, I'm sorry about that. Okay, I'm guilty. I did leave him before we were finished, but I had to. There was no saffron he needed for a recipe. I volunteered to go into
That's a
Venice
lie.
and get him some. The Rialto market would be open late because of the carnival. He gave me money. I knew we weren't supposed to leave the train, but I only wanted to help. Mr.
So-
Mori can confirm this. Ask him. I saved dinner.
So the saffron in there was true.
Oh, On behalf of my palate, I thank you. How long were you gone?
I left at 9:10 p.m. and was back with the saffron around 11. That's when I called my supplier for the items I was missing.
Miss
Okay.
Nielsen had almost 2 hours to buy the saffron, find a costume, kill Monsieur Wadi, elude Detective Locke, and make it back to the train for that phone call. Yes, it's possible that was enough time.
Was it?
Thank you, Mademoiselle Nielsen. That is all for now.
Sorry again, Mr. Poirot. I hope you enjoy tonight's dessert.
I do too. I do too. What do we do now? Alibis in Venice, huh? Out. Who doesn't have an alibi for the murder of Mr. Huh. So there's only 3 people who don't have an alibi. It's Miss Nielsen, Miss Mori, and Mr. Falcher. Miss Andretti was put to sleep
That
because she
was
can't handle the
easy.
fact that she's a murderer. Well, she's an accessory to murderer. Alright, let's go talk to Detective Locke. I'll see you guys once I get there. This is another short episode. Alright, Detective Locke, we got some info. Hey, Book.
What have you been doing, Poirot? I am completely in the dark.
I will shine some light on the situation, my friend. I have 3 new suspects who could have killed Ratchet and Monsieur Wadi. Miss Nielsen, Monsieur Fauché, and Monsieur Mori. They all had periods of time during both murders to commit the deed, and their
then
alibis are weak. A visit to family, and not 1, but 2 shopping trips.
But all are my employees.
Alas, yes, my dear Book. But we have no proof against any of them. None of the 3 appears to have any motive whatsoever.
But this is a tragedy.
Do not give up hope. We will catch this murderer. There is still one place that may hold the evidence we need.
Geneva.
Exact.
Do not
Oh.
give up hope. Well, that's easy for you to say. But what if it's Freya? What becomes of dessert? If it's Sotaru, who will cook? Me? And the worst, if it's Jean, who will serve the drinks?
Book, can't you do all
I've been
those?
checking up on the Banque du Lac. I had to confirm my identity for Interpol, so they contacted my captain at the Berkshire Police.
I suspect he was not pleased.
That my vacation was actually an unofficial investigation? I'll say.
I would be happy to speak to him on your behalf.
Thank you, but he'll get over it. It's a chance to close the books on the Armstrong kidnapping. He stopped yelling, asked for a report, then granted me an extra week.
Excellent. What did you learn from Interpol about the Banque du Lac?
It's had a bad reputation for over a century. Customers have included the mafia, Nazis, corporate swindlers of every description, even heads of state.
It is true, this. It is the worst kept secret in banking. They take advantage of the bank's strict policy of protecting the anonymity of its clients. This is
Which
in
is a
defiance
bullshit
of many
reason.
laws from multiple countries, including Switzerland itself.
How the fuck?
Of course, I have never taken advantage of such a corrupt system.
That goes without saying, my friend.
There are ongoing investigations, subpoenas, court orders. The bank will eventually have to comply, or its assets may be seized. But until then, it still thrives, thanks to its wealthy and powerful clients.
It sounds
We should
perfect
really,
for the late
world, we
Monsieur
really
Ratchet.
need to close down
Do
these
you
banks.
have any ideas?
The serial numbers from some of the bills match those from the Armstrong kidnapping. We agreed in Venice that the bulk of the money must still be physically in the bank's vault.
I concur, Detective Locke. Exemplary work. So, Our next task is clear. We need to get into Ratchet's safety deposit box.
There'll
Okay.
be codes, passwords.
And Monsieur Wadi would, of course, have known them all. The bag of money he carried is proof of that.
We'll need to find information about Ratchet's box in Wadi's office at the bank.
Most assuredly, but remember the secrecy involved. I doubt his office will contain all we need.
Yeah,
Where
no way
else
it
must
has
we
all it.
dig?
It's all gonna be in there. Mr. Wadi's apartment.
I'm right again. That happens to me a lot.
Mr. Wadi couldn't keep all of his secrets at the bank. Hopefully we'll find something in his apartment. We already have his
Which usually
address
burns
thanks to
the
his
people who
passport,
do that.
and his keys we retrieved from his body.
The train stops in Lausanne at 8 a.m. But that's far from Geneva. I can delay the departure until 11 a.m. No later. The police are expecting us in Paris by the end of the afternoon at the latest. They won't tolerate any delay.
The bank doesn't open until 9. I
Really?
can
'Cause
see only
nature can
one
do
way
it.
that gives us a chance to be on time.
Taxi.
Let's take a taxi. I checked a map. It should
I
take
would love
us
to
less
drive
than
a
an hour
boat
to
across
get to Geneva
Switzerland,
from
but,
Lausanne,
you know.
which leaves us just enough time to access that safety deposit box. We have no choice if we want to be back to the train by 11 a.m.
Let's search them separately.
The best thing is to separate. One of us searches his apartment, the other searches his office. To access the safety deposit box, we need to find the key, the box number, and the passcode.
Suppose you find all this. How do you plan to get into the vault?
Impersonated
We are
Ratchet.
going to use the bank's anonymity policy to our advantage.
And the quickest way is for you to impersonate Ratchet.
I would rather impersonate Jack the Ripper.
Really?
But in the interest of justice,
Well, I guess he is more
We need to
famous.
find the account number.
Along with everything else.
Unless of a
I would
scumbag.
say I want access to the vault. They don't ask for papers or even names. The vault information is enough.
I'm not hearing any of this. I run a train company. I don't rob banks.
You know what?
Perfect. Let's recap.
If
the
you have a
plan.
safety deposit box in a place that doesn't really ask questions, you cannot be mad when someone steals from you. Go to Geneva by taxi. Search. Oh, separate first. Separate before we search. Meet up. Pretend to be Ratchet. Oh no, actually, this one goes before meet up. Put this here. This. Then this. And then we will find the safety deposit box. Hooray!
Et voilà.
To sum up, we're going by taxi to Geneva. Then we'll split up. You're going to search Mr. Wadi's apartment. I'll search the office at the bank. When we have all the information we need, you pretend to be Ratchet, and we can finally find out what Ratchet is keeping hidden in his safety deposit box.
It
I'll say some
sounds
fucked up shit.
impossible.
Not for Detective Joanna Locke and Hercule Poirot.
We should get some rest.
You are right, Detective. We face our greatest challenge tomorrow. Together.
Banking. Alright, it's another chapter down. So, I'm going to end this episode here. I'm still keeping it to one chapter per episode, no matter how short the episode ends up being. We have 3 suspects. The 3, actually right here. Freya Nielsen, Jean Fetcher, and Hotaru Mori. These 3 have the possibility of being not only the person who killed Mr. Ratchet, but also killed, what's his name? No, is he not here? And killed the other guy. I forgot his name. But we're going to find out which one of them did it in possibly the next or the one after this episode. I'll be honest, I thought the last episode of this one would be the finale, but we'll keep going. We're going to find the murderer. We're going to make sure they face justice. And we're going to laugh on the inside that these people stabbed the dead body. They didn't get their revenge. Someone got to him before it. Revenge is when you take it with your own hands, not when someone else does it for you. So, If you like this video, comment, like, and subscribe. It does help the channel. Check out the description. I'll have a link to the playlist for this series and other games I played on my channel. Tell me in the comment section what you think about the game, and are you as confused as I am? Because, again, I haven't read the book in years, and the movie's cut off when we do the reveal of the 12 people who stab him. So I'm hoping this is in the book. If not, these people are very clever in what they added. I don't want to read the book again. It takes way too long. I have too much in life. So, I'm going to get out of here. If you made it this far in the video, Brian thanks you. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.